Yeah, boy. I'm in my house, bro. I don't need shoes. Cuz. What you been?
This is the first podcast where I haven't worn boots and Tyler ain't got no shoes on, and it's December.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't need shoes, man. Sometimes you got to take it back to the Neanderthal days.
Well, this pod's going to be a little bit different, but I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun, dude. I'm already laughing because this man just woke up about, 30 seconds ago.
Okay, all right.
Granted, now it's 12:48 in the afternoon.
I went deer hunting this morning. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and I told Jasper I would take a little nap when we got home. So
he didn't even know I was here. I got a key. He gave me a key. I walked right in the front door, came up here and sat down.
Yeah, I gave Jasper a key a couple weeks ago.
So you know it's getting weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I didn't give him one back.
I know.
That's like when somebody tells you I love you and you say thanks.
It wasn't reciprocated.
I'll just tell you where it's hidden outside the house.
Yeah, I actually have one out there too, but.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit different of an episode today. We are doing our Christmas episode, our holiday episode, the first internal podcast since the intro podcast.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
My girlfriend will be very happy that you sang that. Morgan loved Christmas music.
Yeah.
Do you love Christmas music?
I mean, I guess I'm a little partial to it.
Like, I don't mind it, but I won't turn it on myself.
Yeah, I'm not going to just like listen to Christmas music
right,
on my own in the truck.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you catch me doing that, say something.
We got a couple things lined up for today to talk about, but this is really going to be just laid back. Me and Tyler chopping it up, catching up over the, I guess, last few months. So we've launched this thing and some shout outs and some stuff talking about 2025 and merch and all the fun stuff. But since I done mentioned me not wearing boots,
yep.
Let me just go ahead and give a massive shout out to our boy Kyle over at Brooks, because he hooked me and you up.
And Morgan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he sent Morgan so many pairs of shoes.
I'm going to have to reach out for Sid now.
Yeah.
But, dude,
she legitimately loves them too. And I do too.
I take some, well, this is the first time I've ever worn them.
Yeah.
This sounds like an ad now. Promise is not an ad. We're not.
No, I've seen you wear those.
No, I mean, like, I've never wore Brooks before.
Yeah.
They're the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I've never owned a pair.
Yeah.
And I told him that. I was like, dude, I'll never wear anything else, especially when I'm running.
Yeah.
But even for leisure, like, these are the ones that just kick it in.
Those are clean, dude.
Well, they're a little dirty, bro. I wore them to Boston, but I've never had a pair of white shoes.
Still clean.
Anyways, massive shout out. He sent me a Christmas card, bro.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, what a nice guy.
I know.
Like,
they don't make them like that.
He's nicer to me than I am to people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyways, shout out to our boy over at Brooks.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle.
Well, dude, you want to talk about what you were doing this past weekend?
Yeah, we can. I was in Illinois with Tyler Farr deer hunting, and I was filming him for Buck Commander, and he shot a deer. Shot a good 8-point, probably 125, 130. He's probably 130. He might even be a little bit bigger than that, but yeah, we went up there. We got in a redneck blind, and it was raining, and the wind was whipping pretty hard too. And to me, if I'm in a redneck blind, I'm like, I'll sit out there all day in that crap because they kind of got to move, you know? But yeah, we sat there for about 3 hours, and sure enough, he walked out in this little cornfield that we were sitting on and got everything on camera. I don't know how good the footage is. I mean, I was a little shaky, and I'm obviously not like a professional camera guy, but I told him like a couple months back, I was like, hey man, you know, if you need anything, I have a camera. I know your buddy Bryson, that's his like full-time content guy.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. And so I would never like want to step on his toes, but Tyler just cut a song that I wrote. So I was just being like, hey,
big.
I was like, if you need any help, I would literally do this for free because, you know, I want that song to do great. So Bryson was out on the road, I think, and Tyler just hit me up and was like, hey man, come up to Illinois. And so we did. We shot that deer, and then the next day we went duck hunting, and I posted a video of the Yukon that we drove down to the
sick.
blind yesterday. It's a big old Yukon, probably like a 2002 Yukon with tractor tires on it that they drive through this flooded cornfield. It's pretty sick. But, man, we had a great time. That dude, Tyler's like the chillest hero of mine that I've ever met. Like, I grew up listening to Whiskey in My Water, Redneck Crazy, Guy Walks Into a Bar, all that stuff. And I've met a lot of my other heroes. I'm not going to say anybody's names, obviously, and everybody's really been nice.
Yeah.
But Tyler's just been the one guy that I'm like, man, sticks out. Like, he treats everybody like they're
same.
just like him, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. And I think that's the first time you've said that on here, that you're getting a Tyler Farr cut.
Yeah.
So that's pretty big for the listeners to hear.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, God's really put his hand on that relationship. And, I mean, if that's as far as that goes, on the music side of things, and if we're just friends from here on out, I'm cool with that
that's
too.
still so sick,
like, I mean, I
That's
don't really care, but it is awesome.
Yeah.
It's definitely a blessing, and I'm excited to hear it, man. It's or at least to hear it out, because I've heard it. But that was me and Bryce Malden and Colton Venner and Ryan Ball.
Nice.
So,
The
boys, man, yeah. That was Colton Venner's idea, and Bryce did a lot of stuff on that song too, and Ryan absolutely crushed the track, and I sang on it, and yeah, man, it was stars lined up for sure.
And then you went hunting with them.
Then we went hunting and shot a big old buck.
That Yukon video is sick. It's on Tyler's Instagram. If you hadn't checked it out, go check it out. It's pretty cool.
I'm surprised there wasn't like more comments on there being like, what the hell are you doing?
I'm surprised there just wasn't comments about the Yukon.
Yeah.
You don't even see them things rolling around anymore.
You don't.
Yeah,
if I found one like on Facebook or something, I'd buy one.
Y'all had a few of y'all running around out there, right?
What do you mean?
3 or 4 of y'all out there?
On the duck hunt?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some of his buddies in from South Carolina, and then Jamie Johnson's tour manager was hunting with us. And who else was there?
That guy we talked to that night at Tyler's was there, right? Is he he does something with songs or management or something? We talked to him for a while at Tyler's house that night.
I don't know. I think that's all that was there.
Oh, maybe I'm nuts, but definitely dude was at Tyler's house. One of those dudes.
In the video?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who was there.
Because I remember him like very vividly.
Yeah, that might have been some of his buddies from South Carolina. They were really cool. Yeah,
maybe so. That is sick.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I hope that it blows up and it sees the radio and we make a whole bunch of money. But
I hope you do too.
Either way, it's really cool, and I feel blessed, to have that. So
sick no matter what.
Yeah, man.
I hope it makes a lot of money too, so you can buy some merch for us.
Yeah, I mean, I will. We're gonna buy some merch. I think that's probably top of our list.
Yeah.
Come 2025, just figuring that out. We've been designing stuff and just trying to get the best looking.
Something that's different. I mean, we've had so many people hit us up and ask for some of the hats that we're already wearing, or just hats in general, and hoodies, and which is sick. I mean, we were getting comments about merch within the first few posts.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening to this and you want merch, just a couple notes. It's not that easy to get good merch that we want to be special and different, and like something that we would wear and something that we would be proud to sell. Because like some of the merch we've gotten that we've loved, we'd love to sell it. Some of the merch we've gotten, like, we would probably feel ashamed of ourselves if we made any money on it because it wasn't what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just wanted to be like ours. We wanted to feel like that's a GodDog hat, and everybody knows it when they see it. And it's taken us a while to find, who's going to be the one to source it and make it and print it and then ship it. And then once we get it, we got to have boxes and a website and some way to do how you're going to put your credit card number in and pay us for it. And then we got to ship it to we're just trying to, the only two people that run GodDog are me and Tyler.
Yeah. And really by that, Jasper means Jasper.
No, definitely not. But
Jasper does, like, if y'all are wondering how we do it, we don't. Jasper does.
No.
Like, Jasper does all the heavy lifting. I feel like I just need to say that on here because we definitely, I mean, we're a team and we do this whole thing together, but Jasper does anything that's difficult, Jasper does.
That's not true, bro.
Bro, pat yourself on the
It's not true, dog.
It is
not.
true.
Dude, I've told you a million times, like, it's a yin and yang thing.
Yeah, but still,
99.9% of the guests wouldn't have come on if you wouldn't have booked them. You could be charging rent for this room we're using in your house.
You gonna pay me?
No. I'm doing all the work.
You gonna split it with me?
I'm doing the production.
Fair enough.
But anyways, all that being said is just me and Tyler right now. So we're trying our best to get the merch stuff figured out. And then hopefully one day down the road, we've made money from merch or sponsors or something. And we hire somebody else to come do the production part that's taking up all the time. We can focus more on just being in here. And I think it'd be fun when we get to the point of that plus like more of mine and yours time on merch.
Yeah.
Like getting a little more nitty gritty here.
I feel like we're pretty good at designing that stuff too. So
I think it's fun. And we can go out and source and get our hands on different products and whatever.
Yeah. I agree.
And let somebody else handle all
the bull crap.
Yeah.
The stuff that you spend all your time doing.
I think for real that we'll just get an intern.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to do that.
I don't either. But I think we'll figure it out. Yeah. I mean,
MTSU or something.
Yeah. Right? I mean, that's what I had mine through, you know?
Yeah.
I was the only one that got paid. We ain't got to pay these kids.
That's right.
I'll pay them something. But
make them a ham sandwich.
I'll also fire you.
Make them a ham sandwich.
You don't need a job. You're fired.
You're fired. Go back to Murfreesboro.
I think if I was in MTSU again and this was a thing and it was an opportunity to intern, I'd be like, this is sick. Outdoors, country music. I would probably think that me and you were bigger than we are. And I would be like all over that.
Yeah, me too. I would make them go deer hunting with me.
Yeah, dude. I'd be
like, hey, man, we're not going to be in the studio today. You got any camouflage?
Yeah. It'd be the coolest internship for a college student ever.
Yeah, I would have done it.
Yeah, so eventually we'll get there, but that's a little update on merch. We're working on it. We want to get it out as fast as they want it, you know?
Yeah. Well, how do you feel this year went? Like, where's your head at for 2024? And we can talk about 2025, but let's pick Jasper's brain for a minute. I mean, bro, I ask you that because you did a lot. Like, you do a lot of the behind the scenes, like all the editing. I mean, I pretty much have you started mastering the audio now? Because you have stopped asking me to do that.
I've mastered all of it.
Okay, so he does all the video editing and he masters the audio, and I literally just walk in here, turn the neon sign on, and turn my camera on and press record, and then Jasper does the rest. Not because I want him to. I wish I could help, but from the way that you've explained it, it's just kind of like a one-man job.
Well, dude, it's just tough to be like, hey, man, I've got the hard drive and I've got all the videos uploaded, so I'll give it to you now, and you do the multicam edit and then give it back to me, and then I'll pull the verticals and then I'll give it back to you, and then you'll put the verticals on socials, and then I'll go in and put the cap. You know what I mean? It's just like it would take longer.
Yeah.
And like the only reason I've done the mastering the audio is because like I literally pulled it into my in a Reaper the other day, your mastered audio, and like set a reference on it.
Oh, okay.
So now I pull in the audio track and I'm just like, I just export it. Mm-hmm. I might have to bump it up a decibel or something, but it's like now I don't have to be like, hey, I need to wait for the audio. It's just like the process is getting easier and easier. And honest to God, dude, it's not even a long process up until cutting verticals. But anyways, I think everything this year has been what we wanted it to be, but more. I think there's a lot that happened this year that we wanted to happen in 2025, probably, which is crazy. I think we learned a lot. I think we learned a lot about how tough this is and how much work it does take. But I also think we learned about how, like, I think God approved of this too. Of like, we said it on the first episode because, you know, on the first episode we put out, it was really like 4 episodes in to recording. So that first episode that everybody heard, the intro was like a look back of, you know, we're 4 things into this. Well, at the time of this recording, this episode that we're doing right now will come out, and it'll be episode 8 in the timeline. But we've already recorded 9, 10, and 11, and we've already booked 12 and 13, which is nuts. So we've done a lot since that first episode has come out. And yeah, I think that, same thing we saw in the first one is just double down on the guests coming here, and we don't have to pull anything out of them. We're not yanking teeth. We don't have a script. We might have things in our mind that we just really want to hit home on. But I'll take some of that. The stories that some of these guests have shared have been, I don't know, man, God-only moments, I think, because we haven't had to be like, hey, Josh Phillips, why don't you tell us about that super hard time of withdrawing on your parents' couch? Hey, Ray Fulcher, why don't you tell us about a heartbreak you went through? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they told us, and it was in a natural way that I think it just feels like God's in the room when it happens, and
Yeah.
you can't fake that. You can't make it up. I think that's special. I think that I don't want to take this as a bragging moment for us, but our numbers look really good, and that's really exciting to me.
Okay, so not to brag by any means, and I don't think that sounded like you were bragging at all, but Jasper knows the numbers. I don't, and I really don't know, when it comes to podcasting, compared to streaming numbers and music, I don't really know what they mean, what's good compared to what,
Right.
But walk us through some of the stuff that happened this year analytically.
I mean, I think,
TikTok and stuff, Instagram.
dude, it's just crazy that the first couple of things we put out on Instagram, first of all, we've gained on TikTok alone, probably over 20,000 followers from our first post, which was in September. And we're close to 4,000 on Instagram too, which is nuts. And just in terms of growth, but our first few posts all got taken down from that dove hunting video of us holding the Mossberg guns in it, and that sucks. So we started off with a ban on our accounts. Dude, and then I don't know, man, it just skyrocketed. A lot of those videos we posted that were Bible verses on top of our content were really good. And then it took a while for the podcast clips to catch up. But as soon as the Josh Phillips episode, actually no, as soon as the Nick Walsh episode came out of him talking about being sober,
I'm about to look at them.
everything changed on TikTok and Instagram too. And so, just in terms of analytics, we're averaging 600,000 viewers a month between TikTok and Instagram right now.
That's insane.
And we've had over 7,000 listens on audio for the podcast just between Spotify and Apple, which is also, to me, insane because, I was doing a podcast during COVID before all this, and, we never scratched the surface. You know what I mean? And, at the time of this, the Dylan episode's already out. Dylan's episode did more listeners, more streams in 24 hours than every episode we've done in the last 3 months.
Really? Combined?
Not those combined, but
okay.
Accumulated, any episode even the first episode that came out that's been able to stream for 3.5 months, he beat it out on the first day.
That's insane, bro.
On
Dude,
YouTube,
Dylan's social media presence is
nuts.
I told him that the other day. We went to go eat supper, and we had dinner with which I thought this was cool. We had dinner with Lee Ellis and Macy Watkins and Slade Johnson, and I was on my phone looking at the podcast, and I wasn't going to tell him right there at dinner, but we walked outside, and I was like, man, thank you so much, because, dude, your social media, I forget, but his social media presence is, just stupid.
We've had
it just works, everything.
works. We've had 3 posts on GodDog Instagram that did better than normal, that were really up there. One was the one of you in cotton that just continues to go viral every day of the week. I think one of the Josh Phillips posts did really good. And then the one we did with Dylan. But the one we did with Dylan was different than all the other ones.
Yeah.
It brought in a different demographic of people too, a younger audience, which is really good.
Very good.
Yeah.
I hope this podcast falls on young ears,
Yeah, same. You said it on the first episode that you hope it falls on someone that was like in your shoes when you were 16. And I think that Dylan helped at least steer the ship that way. Mm-hmm. So anyways, just numbers in general, I think we're in a good spot. It's not like, for those of you who don't know, like we're not making any money off those numbers. Like we're not making any money on TikTok, Instagram, streaming, nothing. We have not made a penny, but I think it's just headed in the right direction is all that means, both for hopefully we make money on this one day. And then second, just like that is reaching people. And I think that's the biggest thing for me looking at the numbers is like, it's reaching way more people than I thought it would in 3.5 months. I'm only in 7 episodes in.
Yeah, I know.
8 with this.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's nuts.
It's been really good. God's put his hand on it for sure.
I'm having fun, and I think it's super fulfilling. Like, sometimes it's annoying editing stuff, but like, I don't know, dude. It's just scratching that itch,
It is. I almost wish we could do it more.
I wish we could run one a week.
I know.
And one would come out every week.
I would do it every day.
Yeah. I mean, I think when we start
but
making money,
I know we can't do that. But
I think once it starts making money, it's like when we can pay an editor to come in, it's like, then yeah, we run one a week and then we double down. Right now we have an episode coming out every other week or every 2 weeks episode comes out. And it would be cool if it was once a week an episode came out, which I think is probably the norm for like big podcasters. But I'm not going to name any names, but like I wouldn't say we have competitors, but I think we have people that are in our lane. And dude, we're not far behind them on numbers right now.
Yeah.
From what I've noticed.
I don't even know.
I didn't know until yesterday. I was like, I'm just curious. And we're just on the right track. And I'm not trying to jinx us by saying that. I think we've worked really hard. And I think that the next episode that comes out after this is Jason, and it's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say the next one. We'll keep it a surprise. And then we have 2 more that are booked right after that are also going to be good guests. And then who knows what happens after that? We ain't booked anybody else yet, but we're guaranteed another 5, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's a plethora of people out there too that I feel like are eager to tell the world about Jesus and what he's done in their life, and I'm excited to see how many more of those people we run into by doing this.
No doubt. I think there's when we like made our guest list, we had like the doables, ones we thought we could do, then we had the dream list. And there's so many names on there that it would take us 2 years to go through every one of those. We got every one of them. But I think at the beginning we were like, who are the type of faith-led people that are in our space? And there's probably like 200 more that we haven't thought of that might be like, I don't know his name, I'll have to look it up. We had a dude from the Orioles, a baseball player from the Orioles. Orioles followed us yesterday. In his bio was a Bible verse about Jesus, and it's just like there's probably people we don't know about that would just crush on here.
Yeah,
that'll be how we're like really doing well is when we have to be like having somebody help us book. I was about to say something. Oh, last thing I'll say about this year, and then I want to know your thoughts about 2025. But I think what's been like the coolest thing, the most validating thing, apart from the numbers really don't matter at the end of the day. We've had so many DMs, dude, of people that have been like, just telling us thank you, which is, it's always weird to be told that because you know who you are and I know who I am. And we're really just 2 broken dudes that are trying to get better every day. I've got my flaws for sure. And even when in music, you get a DM and it's like, man, thank you so much for this song. Like, you don't know what it did to me. And I think it can be hard for us to wrap our heads around that because like, everybody just knows you on social media, but they don't know who you are when you go home and it's just you behind the door. Mm-hmm. Just like on here, I think sometimes like some people might look at us and be like, man, like they really got it figured out.
Yeah, that's laughable.
If only they knew like the conversation that
we have
when this thing's not on record and it's like, dude, I had a terrible day today and this is on my mind and I'm super like anxious or this thing is going on at work or fill in the blank. And I'm saying all that to say is like, I'm just thankful that we've had some people tell us that they found a spot here because that's all we wanted it to be. But I also don't want anyone to think that like we're better than anybody else, that we've got it figured out. We might have some things figured out, but we ain't got it all figured out. Even I probably should just go down the DM list and just shout out everybody's name, honestly, because there's been some really good ones. But I think the two that come to my mind, top of mind right now, is the guy that hit us up about a month ago and said him and his brother are 19 and just started college and they live together. And they were like, man, it's like, we love having y'all as a mentor.
Yeah.
It makes me feel really old when he said that. Not in a bad way, but I just thought that was really cool. And then the girl who hit us up last week after the Dylan episode that was like, I'm not your target demographic. I'm a female. I don't hunt. I don't fish. But like, you're reaching more people than you think.
Did we get an email?
I'm locked out of the email, by the way. We need to fix that one.
Okay, I think she sent us an email too.
Oh, wait, she did.
Yeah.
She did. And then she sent us a DM after that and told us everything in the email too, and I responded to her.
Yeah. That was really nice.
It's insane, right? Like, that's the craziest part about all of this. And we were doing this because we wanted to. We enjoy it, and I think we partially felt called to do something like this. But I also think it like hits on that thing of like, man, it's not about you. You know, your dreams really aren't even about you. Your song's really not for you.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. I told Harrison that on the other day. It's like, if you have a number one and you're an artist and it helps somebody find their path to God, who got more blessed? You or them? Probably both, right? Like, you got a number one, it solidified you as an artist. You got a job and you'll get paid from it. But like, it goes both ways. And I kind of think it's the same for something like this, where it's like, we get fulfillment doing this. We get to build a brand. We get to be in the outdoor space. We get to just chop it up for fun, hang out with really cool people. But it's not really about us. You know what I mean? It's really about the person sitting there and then the person hearing what they have to say or what we have to say, not for us. And it goes both ways sometimes, right? Like, I think after the Ray episode, we both were like,
yeah,
definitely both needed that. So I'm going to stop rambling now and let you talk.
No, I like it. I don't like talking.
Why?
Because I'm practicing like just keeping my mouth shut, to be honest. So I like it when you're rolling.
Well, sometimes you're going to tell me to shut up too, because I'll cut somebody off and talk for 3 hours straight.
No, you say good stuff, man. I mean, I feel like if I needed to intrude, I would, but I completely agree with all of that. Yeah, we definitely would just want to say thank you to everybody who's followed us, sent a DM, Kyle for the Brooks, everybody for the love, and God for just putting his hand on this. And we definitely want to let y'all know that we're not slowing down in 2025. I think, like we talked about earlier, we're going to be doing some merch. We're going to try and keep the content coming, ramping that up, and hopefully getting an intern. And I would love to get a booth somewhere at an expo by 2026.
Yeah, I think obviously having NWTF in Nashville is like in our stomping grounds, and it's just filled with people that are in the same lane as us, whether it's outdoors or music, and that would be really sick.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. And sure, we could like sell some T-shirts and hats and stuff, but it'd be a really cool opportunity for people to walk by, like, what is GodDog? And then you just get to talk about Jesus. Yeah. In a place that I don't know how many people are doing that there, you know? Yeah, that's a good point. But we literally have a booth about it. Yeah. And it's camouflage, or, you know.
And that was the whole point of this. Yeah. Was to have our faith ingrained into the things that we care about the most. I do think that too, bro. I think that's the coolest part about this was like, that can be a really hard thing to work out, is when you want to merge like all the things you care about into one thing. Because everybody tells you like, pick a niche, pick a niche, pick a niche. Like, pick one thing and be really good at it, right? Like, that would mean like have a podcast just about God, or have a podcast only about whitetail, or only about songwriting. But it's like, we're able to do all of it. And I think it fits because it's the life we actually get to live. That's a hard thing to do, bro. It's really hard to make all of that, and not just to do it, but to make it work and it feel right and natural. Because like, it could be, you know, you could get on the path of being like, I want to do a Christian outdoors thing, and it leans one way or the other, and it just doesn't, I don't know. But God really has allowed this to like sit in the space it needs to, which is really sick.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel overbearing, and it doesn't feel cheesy. And I don't mean cheesy as in like in a godly cheesy way. I mean like I never wanted to make a brand that felt like the mug the quote you would see on a mug for like a kindergarten teacher. And I don't mean that in disrespect to a kindergarten teacher. I mean like that's not who we are.
Yeah.
And I think it can be difficult to talk about God in a way that strikes men in a natural way.
Right.
And I don't think that's had anything to do with me or you on here. I think it's been like straight up God just being like, I'll handle that part. Back to the camo thing, like I just think that's cool. Because a lot of times Christianity can feel like not cool. Not to me or you, but like externally to other people. People might be like, that's like not cool and it's all lovey-dovey and not like rough. It's like,
Yeah. The cross was pretty rugged.
Dude, I played at the end. I got some video saved that I've been wanting to like play on here, and we'll throw it up on there when we listen to it. But I found a video on TikTok the other day of this guy that was talking about the crucifixion, and it was like, you've heard it a million times of how brutal it was, but the way he talked about it was like, dude, you just can't wrap your head around that.
Is it the guy that was comparing it to the Passion of the Christ?
Yes, you saw the video? I think it was a black guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I'll let you play the video, but
it was just,
sorry.
I just listened to it and it was just like, you can't fathom that, man. You can't fathom a human going through that.
Yeah.
And then you can't fathom somebody loving you enough despite everything about you to do that for you.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I think about it all the time. I'm glad it wasn't me.
I'm glad it's not me. I'm glad I'm not God.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle me. You know what I mean?
I'm stubborn.
Well, I think I would have given up on me by now.
Yeah.
But I heard another video the other day that I've been trying to like keep in my head. He was this pastor and he was like, man, I get asked so often in my church from people like, how do I love God more? I feel like I don't love God enough. And he was like, well, first of all, you don't and you can't love God to the extent in which you want to. There's just no way. But also, that's not the point. The point of your life is not how much you love God, it's how much God loves you. And therefore, you live your life in accordance to trying to love him the most you can. But if you walked around all day trying to be like, man, did I honor God enough? Which is a good question. It's a good checkup to have, but you're never going to check that box.
Yeah, and that's living in constant defeat.
Yeah, but if you walk around being like, how much does God love me? I think it would open your eyes a little more to be like, Matt said it on this, Matt Busby said it on here, and Sydney says it all the time, like you can't be anxious and grateful at the same time. And if you could walk around all day just being like, how much does God love me? At work or in a write or on here in your relationship, I bet you'd look at things differently and be like, well, he loves me enough that like, look at all he's done for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be hard. It would allow you to be more grateful more often.
Yeah.
And therefore less anxious. Because when we're running around just being like, man, I failed God today. I didn't hold up the promise I told him I was going to make. I didn't honor him at work or in my relationship or with my mom or dad or fill in the blank. Bro, you'll just walk around all day being in defeat because you're never going to win that. It's so funny, dude. It's such a, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's such a hard thing to be like, we're supposed to live our lives as holy as we can, but you'll never, you're supposed to live as close to Jesus as you can, but you'll never be Jesus.
Yeah.
You're going to fail, and he knows it. But I don't know. It's just a weird thing to be like, but I still got to try my best and not fail. And then when I do fail, I got to be like, I got to get back up.
Yeah.
And not go hide in the dark for 4 days as if God already didn't know.
Right.
Because I do that.
Yeah, me too.
I fail and I'm like, well, no, I can't. I can't just jump right back in where I was. I feel like I'm like 10 steps behind. God's like, just get back up where you were.
Yeah. Yeah, he disciplines his kids. You know, it says that in the Bible, but at the same time, like, it's not the same as what we think it is. You know, I think it's more or less like, okay, you've proven yourself to not be ready in this, or like, you really need to grow here. So, like, we've all seen the video of, I think it was Denzel Washington. He's like, God, I want to be patient. So he's going to, God gives you something to be patient through. He's not going to just like wave his hand or a wand to be like, all right, abracadabra, you're patient now. Like, he's going to give you opportunities to become what you tell him that you want to be. And I think that's honestly my favorite thing about God is like, he does it. He lets us become things on our own accord through his grace.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I sat in the driveway I went to a number one party last night, and I had a conversation with somebody while I was there, and I got in my head on the way home, and Morgan could tell I was just kind of in my head, and she was like, what's wrong? We got back, and we parked the truck in the driveway, and she talked to me for about an hour and prayed for me, and I mean, that was so awesome. I'm going to kind of take a turn right here. Boys, if you don't have a woman that prays for you, you're missing out.
And you should pray for her. Too.
It's honestly a superpower, because I don't know what I would do without Morgan a lot of times. Yeah, we were sitting there, and she was just telling me, like, from her perspective, what it looks like God's doing, and we both agreed that he's just wanting me to be patient. And so I'm reminding myself every day, like, is this an opportunity to be patient?
Yeah.
And can I do that?
Yeah.
Or am I going to sit over here and shake my leg
Probably
like I do
both.
every time I'm getting anxious or like impatient, you know? But yeah, God's he's the like master teacher, you know. That's wisdom. And
wisdom stuff too. I've been praying about that a lot. And my dad told me that he was praying about it a lot, and so he read through all of Proverbs. I think he did a chapter a day, and then he finished Proverbs, and he started reading Ecclesiastes. And told me that helped him a lot, so I started reading Proverbs 3 days ago, or chapter 3 this morning. Because, like, man, wisdom is such a gift, and it is not something that you, like, there are some things you can become wise about with age, and I think that's what I told my dad that too. I was like, because I've read Proverbs before, I've read Ecclesiastes before, and I told him, I was like, well, a lot of it has to probably do with you getting a lot out of it because you're where you are in life, right? You're in your 50s and you're older and you got kids and business and whatever, but some things you can get wisdom on from trial and error. It's just like life, but I think there's a lot of things that you can get wisdom on from God, and that's what I'm trying to figure out how to get more of, because I just want to make the right decisions in life, and not just about like getting every little thing right, but like even down to the finite things. Like, it's not a control issue, and it's not I need to be right. It's just like, I firmly believe God has a plan for me and every living human, and he wrote that plan down in a book before I was ever breathed into existence. And if I believe that, well, then I want to be on that path, because I don't want to play God. Like, that's the free will I don't want to have. I don't want to play God and make decisions that gets me away from what he designed me to do. And so I want wisdom to be like, you know, I want wisdom to know when I'm doing the right thing and the wrong thing. And I don't mean of like, should I drink or not drink? Like, there's a right answer and a wrong answer. That's easy. But like, even the little things about like this, when we're getting merch and who we're going to work with and like how we're going to spend the money, or when we do hire somebody, or, you know, who I choose to be in the room with when we write, or who I choose to work with as an artist, or where to live, and whatever, dude, whatever, doesn't matter. But I just think wisdom is such a, I don't know, it's a superpower sometimes, I think, because like I said, you can get wisdom from learning and making mistakes. And that's where a lot of it comes from. Unfortunately, a lot of wisdom comes from looking back and being like, that I'm not doing that again. Or that was really good for me. I'll stay on that path. But I do think there's moments in life where God's like, I'm going to help you out here because you're not going to figure this out on your own. And that's what I'm always in search for, you know? I guess everybody probably is. Mm-hmm. I think I want to hear from God more often. And I struggle with that, dude.
Yeah.
Just like Ray said when we had him on, he was like, I prayed about moving to Nashville for over a year. And then even after I felt like God told me yes, he was like, I was still in my head being like, okay, God, was that me or you? Like, were you telling me that or am I just thinking these thoughts? Dude, that's me to a T. I'll talk to God about something and I feel like a thought will pop in my head and I'm like, whoa, was that really you? Or was that me? Mm-hmm. You know? Discernment, wisdom and discernment. Like, that's where I want to live in that space.
Yeah. A lot of times wisdom to me comes off as like, for people that don't know this, when you sit down and write a song, let's say you have an idea and it's a really good idea. You can look at that idea from 20,000 different directions and take it that many different places. But I always tell people that are new to town or asking me about songwriting that the best songwriters are the people that know how to write the best hooks the right way.
Right.
And I feel like wisdom in life and, you know, going, making decisions and stuff, it's about having an opportunity and looking at it from 20 different or 20,000, whatever, you know, however many different perspectives you have and choosing the one that looks most like God.
Yeah, that's really good.
And that's hard because emotionally, when you get emotions involved, like, we're selfish.
Yeah.
We're all selfish. Like, I can be so selfish at times and like blame people or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think God's showing me that my life, I can live my life a lot like the way I write songs. And that's just like, okay, well, we could write it this way or we could do it this way. But I really think this is the way that he would want me to do it.
That's really good.
But
that's a great way to look at that.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I got it down, but
no, it's smart though. I mean, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna start thinking about that more often because, yeah, that's the truth. And you can look at things as a writer, you know, like the gravel idea. I have an idea. You have an idea. Damon has an idea. None of them are the same idea. Mm-hmm. And either way, it's probably gonna be good, but. It probably also just proves the point of why co-writing's so good, and it could be another little like analogy for keeping good people around you in your life.
Yeah,
that can help you see things different too. You know, like Damon texted me last night after I sent him that work tape for Never Shake, and I didn't know that he wrote down a different word in his notes when we were writing, and he told me last night. I was like, "That's so freaking smart, dude," because the hook that I had was, what is that hook? Oh, if God takes you away and leaves me here astray. He was like, I think it sounds better if God takes you away and leave me here to stray. I was like, oh man, like that's so much more poetic. That's so good. It was a one word change, dude. Mm-hmm. And then
he's good at that.
Changed the whole song though, and it made it work 10 times better. And it was a little thing, and it changed everything because he had a different perspective than me.
Damon's really good at that. Excuse me. I'm burping up Red Bull over here. Damon's one of the best songwriters I know, for sure.
He's the only, and I can only say this because of the conversation y'all had on the phone the other day and then him texting me about the song. Dude, he's got such a like admin's not the right word, A&R creative. Like, and I mean creative as in like the business side.
He's a strategist.
He's very good at song placement as a writer, which not many people are, right? Like we can write a song and be like, this sounds like a Brantley song. That's one thing. Everybody can do that. That's why everybody writes a song and says, I want to send this to Morgan Wallen. But when he was on the phone with you and he was like, he knew your catalog, not just knew the songs you've written, but he knew the ones that were different for you. He knew the ones that would work better released in a certain timeline. He knew which ones should be pitched, which ones you should demo versus which ones you should just go ahead and cut. And then same thing with this. He was like, I think you should change this one word, but no, even if you don't, it's fine. But also, I think you should bump it up a BPM or two and might cut some time off of it. Like there's not a lot of writers that can live in being a really creative writer and also having like that, like plugger. He's almost like a song plugger for his buddies.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
It is awesome. He's a really good person to have in your corner. I'm very thankful that God put him in my life. We met each other for the first time. I was driving a tractor on Broadway when I first moved here.
Really?
He pulled up next to me, him and Hannah, his wife, were in his car. I didn't know who he was, and he was like, what did he say?
Oh my God, are you Tyler Chambers?
No, he said, man, in a perfect world, you wouldn't be driving that tractor, huh? And he was referencing a song that I have out called In a Perfect World. I was like, what is this person talking about? I didn't know anybody like listened to my music, And I was like, yeah, man, yeah. And he drove off, and then the light bulb went off in my head. I was like, oh, he's talking about my music. And then
That's so wild, though.
Yeah.
What a random moment.
And then a year later, I was playing around at Live Oak, and he walked up to me. He was like, hey, man, like, this is what happened. You were on the tractor, and we stopped and said, hey, and I like your music. I wanted to pick your brain about stuff. And I said, man, I would highly encourage you to continue doing what you're doing right now, which is approaching people,
networking,
shaking hands, kissing babies, that whole thing, but just being a really good person. And he got my number, and I think probably 6 months or so after that, we finally got a date to write, and we wrote a song called Here at the Bar. But really, we talked a lot about Jesus in that room, and it was kind of when I first started coming around to my faith and stuff. And he's been such a huge help in keeping me straight, and just a wise person to bounce things off of. And yeah, I'm very thankful for that.
Great writer.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you something about all these episodes. You have a favorite? And it's not to throw anybody under the bus to not have favorites, maybe not a favorite, but just anything that just sticks out, or a conversation, or something that you've just picked up on over the last 3.5 months.
I don't know if I have a favorite, man. I mean, I can look back and think about ones that were a little more fun or more serious or a little deeper and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really like blur together. Like, it's not like I can't separate them all, but
they were all different.
Yeah, they were all different.
They all brought their own thing to the table, I think. Which I think, yeah, I don't have a favorite either. I think they all brought something different to the table. I think I got something out of every one of them. And I do think, like, the two things that I picked up on the most from everyone was that, like, everyone we brought on at some point in their life had some sort of identity crisis.
Come to Jesus.
Yeah. And the other thing that's been, like, I wouldn't just say because we had them on and they talked about it, or because we know, but, like, because of the attention that the videos got on the internet, bro, it's like I'm 80. Like alcohol, bro. Like, our best performing posts were Nick, Josh, and Brian talking about alcohol and their struggles with it. And it just made me realize how many people struggle with that, especially here. We already knew that here, right? We already knew that. That's not uncommon, I guess. But, like, where no one's walking around being like, I'm an alcoholic, right? But just, dude, like, Josh's video got so much positive attention of people being like, I'm 3 weeks clean, or this video wasn't the reason I'm going to get clean, or, you know, today's my birthday and I'm 21 years sober. And I don't know, man, like, very again, like I said at the beginning, humbling. That's not about us, and that we weren't trying to have those conversations. And I think it's too, like, we pray about that before every episode. We're like, if there's something we need to hear, the guest needs to hear, or the audience needs to hear, that it'll come out. And it seems like that's been the case. I think that's just been a reoccurring theme, is that whether it's alcohol or something else, everyone that's come on here has had some very low moment. But they've all rose from the ashes, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Just sick. Special, dude.
Special, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good thing. I think GodDog's got its place in the world, and if it doesn't get any bigger than it is right now, so what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool too to think about how small the world that Jesus was, that he was living in when he was walking the earth. I think about that a lot, about my street corner, just trying to be a disciple there.
That's good.
And I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think we're broadcasting from our street corner.
That's good. That's really good.
But
I changed our bio this week to a more professional one. I might need to add that in there.
all right. But yeah, dude. Do you have anything that you want to address?
I don't know. I'm looking at the notes we took for this. It's so funny. This is like the only episode we've had like actual notes on.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a guest episode. Yeah, we can talk about some fun stuff too. What was your favorite song that you wrote this year? I know you wrote like 400 of them.
I have a couple that stick out. Flying Colors is one of them.
Yeah.
That's a song that Jasper and I wrote. Super awesome and patriotic. I'm going to put that out for sure. I wrote a song with I wrote a couple songs with Matt Mulhare and Danny Magic that I really love. Whiskey to Warm Me Up. And
That's such a good song, dude.
Closest I've Been to Dying. That one's pretty close to home. Wrote a song with Dylan that I really like. The Tyler Farr song's pretty sick too.
Yeah, I mean, you had 3 Dylan cuts this year.
Mm-hmm.
4, including your record.
Yeah, I guess 4 with that song that I put out.
You had
I had a pretty good year, man.
Chase
Looking back
Beckham
at
cut?
it, yeah, Chase Beckham and Austin Snell cut a song that I wrote this week.
Yeah, you had a big year, dude.
I'm blessed, man. It's crazy. I sit here and say that, and then you can just forget about it,
Well, it's hard. It's easy to just be like, what's next?
I got to stop looking at my bank account. Christmas time, boy.
I need the bank to call me. I've been locked out of my savings account for 3 weeks.
Is that a good thing?
No. Well, probably.
Yeah.
But still.
So, actually, can you talk about what's going on in your life within the next couple of weeks?
Probably. I think I'm quitting my job tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow?
I think so. I'm really nervous about it. By the time this comes out, I've already quit my job.
So what are
For the second time this year.
Yeah.
Dude, what a whirlwind of events, bro. Like,
God sustained you through all that, man. I mean, if you look at it.
it's insane, dude. Like, for everyone who doesn't know, you probably, I don't know, I've cut a lot. We've talked about this a little bit on some episodes, and I've cut it out.
Let it rip.
I've cut out some of the Red Bull stuff just because it didn't need to be in there at the time. But I spent 7 years working full time for Red Bull in marketing. No, sorry, 7 years, but 5 years full time. 2 years was in college. So for the last 5 years, I was full time in marketing for Red Bull, and then I was just ready to be done with it. It was just time to move on. It was like one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life, though. I learned so freaking much, dude. But it was really hard to have a full-time job and write. But I'm very thankful that I did it because, bro, can you imagine it if I had a deal when I lost my voice and I couldn't write or record? They'd have been like, man, we're dropping this kid for sure. Like, thank God I had a job. And they were like, oh, yeah, well, we can't fire him just because he can't talk. He's got a computer.
Yeah.
I think about that often because a lot of my, excuse my French, a lot of my bitching part of my career was during that time. And now I look back and I'm like, man, I'm really glad I had a full-time job during that, or I'd have been screwed. Anyways, I was ready to leave. And then my best friend that I grew up with hooked me up with another job opportunity, and I took it. And I took that in August. My first day was in August. I guess my last day at Red Bull was in July. And it was just wild, bro, because like when I quit working at Red Bull in July, me and you were only like 3 weeks into like planning GodDog. And we were like really stoked about it. We probably didn't even have this freaking board yet.
No, we didn't.
And I started that job, and that job has been good for me too. But in the midst of that, Jason Cruz, who we just had on, also hit me up and was like, man, I might have this opportunity for you in the outdoor space, and it'll probably be like a part-time gig for you to have some side money. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm down for side jobs. I love having side money. And that was kind of the extent of that conversation. And then a month later, he was like, hey, this thing's like for real, and but it isn't part-time, and I need it to be full-time for you. And I was like, bro, I just started this other job. And for the last few months, we've been trying to figure out putting the pieces together for that and what that's going to look like. And I guess Jason's episode will come out after this, and y'all hear more about that. But long story short, that opportunity was to do similar to what we're doing here, but different. Like Jason wanted to get back into full-time outdoors ministry, doing like a hunting show, outdoor show with guests. And then he'll also be doing a podcast with his best friend, who's also a pastor. And so I'm going to be helping like do the podcast production. Maybe that's the reason I've been doing all the production on here, was just to figure out how to do it for him, dude.
Yeah, maybe so.
I'll be doing podcast production for them, helping him run socials for the outdoor stuff, and then helping his best friend run socials for his company. And so tomorrow I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to be jobless without a paycheck for 3 weeks and start that on January 1st, which is nuts.
Let's go.
The other crazy thing is, like 3 weeks ago, Red Bull had a massive reorg in the whole entire company, and they laid off a ton of people. Even my position, the person who took my job has to reapply for their job. And so it's just like perfect timing to be like out of there, chasing something different. And it's the thing that I want to be doing. You know, it's content, social media. I enjoy that. And when Jason approached me with this, he was like, hey, man, I got this thing for you. I think you'll be good at it. But also, he was like, I know how bad you wanted time to work on GodDog and write songs. And I think this will open the door for you to have a job you enjoy and do that. And I was like,
it's going to do that.
Yeah. And so for me, it's like, I'm very thankful for it. I'm excited about it. And I just pray that there's nothing but blessings over it for me and him and Greg, who's involved, and like that it has longevity. But at the same time, like before this ever was presented to me, I'd just been praying about a risk, mainly because, you know, me and you had talked about it so much. And like, just to give you your flowers, and so everyone knows, like, bro, you hype all your friends up so much and like make sure that they're confident in themselves. And like 2 to 3 times this year, you've been like to me, like, bro, I think you're a good writer and I want to help you, but like you can't do both. You can't be gone all the time having a full-time job, which has been a struggle for me the whole time trying to do this. And so after the last time me and you talked about it, which was actually after the Brian Fuller episode, I was just like, God, like, I feel like I need to take a risk of some sorts to do more of GodDog and more of Write Songs, which is the two things that I feel like I've always wanted to do, is this and that. So when Jason said that to me word for word, I was like, well, that feels like an answered prayer. Yeah. And then the very next day is when I went to that conference with my dad and my brother-in-law, and everybody that got on that stage was like, you got to take a risk if you want, you know, your dreams to come true, and risks are scary. And it just made me think about my whole life of like, man, moving up here was scary. Moving back home was scary. Moving back up here again was scary. Quitting my job was scary. I'm scared to quit my job tomorrow. But my point of that was like, everything that I've ever done that's led to like a very sick outcome and cool story was because I was so scared to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I feel that way, I'm like, I got to do it. you know.
Our buddy John Tanner he tells me this. I don't know if he said it on the podcast or not, but he tells me the things we desire the most are always in the caves that we are most scared to enter.
That's really
true. Just gotta jump, man.
Justin Holt. I was riding with Justin one day, and I think I told you this story, but I wrote a very, very vulnerable song with Justin, and I was like, man, I don't know if I should put this out. I'm scared for anybody to hear this. So honest. And he was like, man, if it scares you to put it out, you got to.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get over it. Or like, it was like one of those things again where it's like, it's not about you, you know? And part of me also feels like I don't want to jinx myself, and I don't want to say this out loud, and the devil, you know, take what I'm about to say and ruin it for me. So I'll knock on some wood or pray for the devil don't hear me right now. But like, I also feel like everything in my life has led up to now, which is that's always how it is, right? Everything in your life always leads up to where you're at. But
I think it has.
Yeah, I think doing the outdoors brand that I had and it failing, and it didn't fail. It was just like, it just wasn't it. And going through my vocal cord thing and my job and career stuff, and always trying to balance how to have a brand and how to write songs and how to have a full-time job, led up to now being like, I'm getting to write more songs, and they're my favorite songs I've ever written. What the heck was that?
Cotton.
Oh.
Come here, buddy.
Come here.
Just kick the door down like a SWAT
that's so
team.
Funny, bro. And just, I think about how long I've been making content, dude. Like, as soon as computers got webcams on them, I was making like stupid videos in my parents' house in middle school, changing my voice, you know, and like putting dumb videos on YouTube. And like, I've been uploading music to the internet since I was 13. So doing content and production and like exploiting creativity of the rest of the world, I've been doing that for like 15 years, which is crazy. And it's never been my job.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to get paid to do it in the outdoor space and in the Christian space.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting to do GodDog.
And
like,
you get to write songs.
And I get to write songs,
as you want.
bro. But like, dude, there's so much of that wouldn't have happened without, you know, this and you being like, bro, you got to do something. So I appreciate that from you.
Of course.
And you've just been a good ass friend to me all year, bro.
Back at you, bro.
Not even just with GodDog, but in general.
Back at you, man.
I prayed about that this morning. Like, I prayed about GodDog, but I prayed about our friendship too, because like, you were talking about being cut from the same cloth the other night, because I think Ray said it. It's like, thinking about that this morning, like, I think you're the only friend that I have here that is like on the same wavelength of life. We both kind of got like a tailored pass a little bit. We're both a little reckless in our younger years.
Just a little.
And we both, I hope you don't pull that cord out.
God. That was good.
But anyways, it's taken me 8 years of being here. And I need to make a correction here, bro, because I keep saying 8 years and I just need everybody to know the truth. It's not my 8 years isn't a true 8 years, you know? And I thought about that the other day. I moved here in 2016 and I left here during COVID. And then I came back right when COVID was starting to end. So I was gone for about 1.5 years. So it's not a true 8. But in my defense, every time I tell somebody that, they're like, you didn't miss anything while you were gone for COVID, so you didn't miss anything.
You didn't.
So I'm just like, and I was still driving up here to write with Justin, and that's when he was cutting my songs and stuff. But anyways, bro, very long-winded answer to what I'm doing in my life now. But yeah, I'm nervous. I'm not nervous to do it. I'm nervous to quit my job for some reason because I don't want to let anybody down, you know?
Just got to rip the Band-Aid, bro. I think that was just God sustaining you through it.
I think so, too. I think he was showing me that I can. I think it taught me 2 things, bro. It taught me, 1, I knew I was ready to go. And dude, just for some, some God context here, this is actually crazy. I'll wait till you do that. I applied for probably 10 different jobs, and I interviewed with probably 6. I made it to the final round of like 3 different jobs over the course of probably 2 years, trying to leave Red Bull. And they never worked out, dude. And I was just so upset because I was just ready to move on. And it told me that it wasn't, like, when this, now looking back, it's like it wasn't time for so many reasons. And God got me out of there when it was time. One, like you said, to sustain me, especially while that reorganization happened and I would have lost my job anyways. And 2, it also told me that you can do anything you want. Like, like you've seen those textbooks that are laying in my house, bro. Like, I still don't know it, but like, I have 0 experience in that field that I was about to jump into, and they didn't care. I think that should be like a testimony to anybody that's like, if you're scared to do something you've never done, bro, you can do whatever you want.
You can.
If God wants you to do it, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. You will, man. I think a lot of my life, it has been more or less not making the right decisions, but making a decision and making it right. You know?
Buddy's laying down the bars today, dude.
I do. Like, I genuinely feel like that. And the times when I lose my grip on, like, trusting God and faith in what He can do and what He will do with my life and stuff, it's really when I'm not making the decisions that I'm making right, and not focusing on making the right decision.
That's really good, dude.
You have to make one. The worst thing to do is not making a decision at all.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing that, bro. I think you're making decisions, and I think you're making them right. And I think that, from what I can tell, they've been the right decisions also. I mean, you're about to, it's not like you made a little bit of money this year. You're making good money at that other job and about to make some more.
Yeah. And
have more free time. And not to mention, Jason's going to be awesome to work for. He'll teach you how to make your bed and clean the cast iron skillet on the side.
I was listening to his episode last night while I was editing it, and I found that part, and he was like, "You just had to bring up the cast iron." And then, dude, also, I'm going to clip it for sure, because the funniest part of that whole episode is when he was like, "I got to get up on this mic, don't I?" And you were like, "Yeah, we don't clean them either." And he was like, "Who was the last person on this?" And you were like, "Dylan Marlowe." And he was like, "My buddy, say hey, buddy."
That was kind of cool, though. I was impressed that he knew that.
He told me in the car the other day, he said that again, but it was before this pod, and he was like, "Man, that line, my buddy, say hey, buddy." He was like, "That's got to be a Tyler Chambers line." He's like, "It just sounds exactly like Tyler." Did you write that line?
I don't know.
He sure as heck thinks you did.
Dylan and I, like, when we write, which we don't write as much as we used to, but I mean, he's just really busy now, but Cotton, lay down. We normally can roll pretty quick because we're kind of just on the same wavelength when it comes to lyrics and stuff. I definitely let him sing, so like whatever melodically he wants to do, that's what we do. But that song, we were pretty probably equally yoked there on that song because it was just a two-way. I don't know who wrote that line. I'll just say that he did.
Well, we'll let Jason think he did.
Yeah.
It's funnier that way. Last thing, I guess, or I don't care how long we run it, but you got any music updates for you in 2025?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do my best to hit the road more, for sure. I was talking to Damon about it. You heard the conversation. I'm going to try and get him to help me leverage some of the relationships I have in the business, just focus on, hitting the road and putting the right songs out, strategically throughout the year, because I have so many that I
So
want
many.
to cut.
You have a ton, dude.
It's a blessing and a curse because you want them all to see the light of day. But the truth is, when you have 1,500 songs that you've written, there's no way you can put them all out. So I'm going to try and focus on content this year way more. I'm not going to write as much. I'm still going to be writing songs for like Pitch and other artists, but when it comes to my music, I'm going to focus on shows, making sure financially that I'm doing right by my music and making sure that the money that my music makes, all of it goes back into my music and not anything else. So I'm going to do that and just pray that one of them sees the radio this year. I think I have a chance with a couple songs, so 2025 could be great, man. I mean, getting married, it makes sense. I mean, I'm just saying, God, it makes sense.
You heard it here first. He's going to have 3 number 1s. It'll just be me on here and me and Cotton talking to each other. He's going to be on the road.
That's not true.
I'm just messing.
I'd still figure out how to do this for sure. But, yeah, man, I'm going to put out some music and throw it at the wall till it sticks. It's sliding down right now.
It's going to stick,
stuff,
man.
But
no, it's not.
It's crazy the numbers that you got to have to be like really profitable, like actually profitable. You
need 13 million streams a year to make $60,000
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that insane?
before taxes.
Yeah. Not counting what you pour back in
To recording
To
it,
record.
promoting it, marketing it.
paying a guy to do content, paying a producer, shows, cost of living.
It's an expensive path to take, that's for sure.
It is. It's very risky. But we don't do it for the money.
Yeah.
I quit a long time ago. But I will say this, man, Morgan's so awesome in like a way where I don't feel pressure from her to make like more money or anything.
Right.
I feel a lot of pressure from myself to be a provider and to, be at a place where that one day where if she doesn't want to work, she ain't got to.
Right.
But it's been cool talking to her over the past couple months about just looking at life and what marriage will be like and expectations and all that stuff. And she just wants me to be happy. So that's a huge blessing.
Yeah, that's good.
That's, I think we're both going to focus on that this year and let her rip.
Let her rip, baby.
Let forever rip.
Let forever rip. Brap.
What about you? You gonna put out that song you wrote with Damon?
I'm going to put out a single in January. Be my first single in a year. I'm going to put out another single 6 weeks later. The one me and you wrote, Winter Haven.
Which one are you putting out in January?
World Burns Down. And then Winter Haven.
Come on.
And then I'm going to figure out how to record Jail or Hell if you'll ever finish writing a bridge with me. And then
Definitely.
I'm going to record the one I wrote with Damon called Never Shake. My main goal is to write more songs this year. Maybe write the most amount of songs I've written. But I also just really want to figure out how to record solid acoustic songs, and I want to drop them. I want to drop a lot of acoustics just because I need that to. It just works with my voice right now to do that, and I just want people to hear the songs the way they were written sometimes, because like a produced song is good and it can change the course of what your song does or doesn't do, but sometimes my songs get so different in production from how I wrote them that even when I get them back, I feel like I can't even play them anymore because it's like not even on par. And so I'd love to record some of these new ones acoustically, whether it's in my house or if I can find someone that can just get the right recording. I would love to do like myself acoustic and a violin, and that'd be it. That would be like the goal. But I mean, I've already recorded 2 singles. Those are 100% coming out, and then whenever I can figure out the production on these other ones that are going to be a lot more simple. And honestly, I'm more excited about those than I am the ones that are coming out. I love Winter Haven the most out of the 2 that are coming out, but Jail or Hell and Never Shake are like,
Those are cool songs.
they're cool, and I think those 2 are the ones I worked to try to find all year in terms of like style and melody and lyrically being different and something that fits this new persona of whatever my voice is. And yeah, I'm excited about those.
You should be. They're great. All of them are great songs.
Preach. Much bigger year of music than it was this year.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
They're going to crush, dude.
All of them were. Both of ours.
We need to go film some content for them.
We need to do content. That's what we need to do is we need to get as much content for each other as we can.
Yeah.
All the time. But that should be easier now too. And I think we should do like once a month we go film a ton of GodDog. And once a month we go film a ton of music content.
Mm-hmm.
And just put it on the calendar where it's like we know these dates and way we never run out. I just think it's really hard to lose when you do that.
Yeah.
It's really hard to lose when you go film like 30 pieces of content for 3 different songs and you're posting all 3 songs at the same time. And I just think we're at a point now where it's like everyone's tired of scrolling and hearing you promote one song 40 times, but they don't care if you promote it 40 times when you've promoted 3 other ones 40 times at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to do that. It's very hard to get that much content. It's not an easy feat, but I said it a million times about Dylan. I think that's why Dylan's album was like so anticipated. He didn't just pick 3 songs and be like, I'm going to focus on these 3. It was like, I'll just share every song on the album.
Right.
And that's, I think what I would love to be able to do is get enough stacked up to be like, while I'm promoting this single that's coming out on Friday, I'm also going to promote the one that's coming out next month. And 3 weeks into that, I'm going to promote another one. And they're all going to just continuously be on a cycle. Even the stuff that I haven't done in a year. I might as well go back and re-promote Trust You anyways while I'm dropping this other one. Because if for any reason this other one pops, then I have another one right behind it that's already out. I think the state of music and media and content is like, it matters more now if the song's already out than it does if it's not. No one cares about, dang, your song drops in 3 weeks. I don't want to wait 3 weeks.
Yeah.
They're going to forget.
Yeah. That's tough, man.
That's a hard balance to try to figure out.
Trying to keep somebody's attention for 3 weeks when videos are 30 seconds long. Golly.
But I think that's why you just can't rely on your 1 week thing of like, I'm going to go really hard for 7 days while this song's coming out.
Dude, not to get sidetracked here, but what do you think about the TikTok ban? We hadn't really talked about it.
No, we haven't. Dude, who knows what's going to happen? I have no idea. I don't think it's so hard to keep up with what's going on in the world right now, and drones and whatever else flying around. But I think that Trump will try to not get it banned. I think if it does get banned, dude, my personal opinion is this, and this is the honest truth, and I think this is the truth for sure. I think during COVID, when they wanted to ban it, everyone thought it was, oh my God, it's because they're getting your information and it's Chinese and they're stealing all your data. Bro, if you think Facebook ain't been stealing your data and Google and Amazon ain't been stealing your data, like you're nuts. It has nothing to do with that,
literally how social media marketing works.
Right.
It's literally encrypted
yes.
to follow you wherever you go on the internet. And then
so it's not that. And in COVID, I was saying out loud a million times, bro, it's because of all the information that we, the people, are allowed to share now, right? And now we're seeing it even more. We saw it a lot during this election, and we're seeing it a lot going into the inauguration of 2025. And it's like, if I was the government and I hated you and I didn't want you to have any other news other than what I tell you, which is what the news has been for the last 60 years, up until TikTok and Elon buying Twitter, well, yeah, I would hate TikTok too. I don't want it to be the Wild West where anyone can say anything. And, all this drone stuff we're seeing, bro, we would know nothing about that right now if it weren't for TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought is that's why they want to ban it. If it does get banned, I think the only positive that will come out of it is that we will all feel a lot less pressure to go berserk on Instagram again.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be another place to post our content like that. The scary part is we can't post hunting stuff anywhere, you know? And if Instagram knows, well, now we really have them in the palm of our hands, I think they'll take that into a further extreme of what you can and can't say.
Control the narrative a little more.
And I think the other scary part is the only way that they don't ban TikTok apparently is if the U.S. buys the U.S. portion. That scares me more than it not existing. Because what will be the difference in that and what Instagram is, where it's like right now, if I get on there and I talk smack about politics, Corona, or I post a video of me shooting a deer on Instagram, well, now my account has a strike on it and I can't post. So if a U.S. entity buys TikTok, well, they're gonna do the exact same thing on there. It ain't gonna be the Wild West of news and information and sharing your thoughts. So I'd almost rather it get banned than the U.S. buy it and just censor the hell out of it, you know?
I agree.
But I think it will hurt the music industry too.
Yeah, I think it will. It does open up a door for a company to create something like TikTok.
Yeah, true.
You know, but that's so far, like, who's to say?
It opens the door for someone like Elon to buy TikTok too, and it'd be the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but
that would be awesome. I wonder what
they don't want to sell it.
Yeah, I wonder what the net worth is.
I don't even think it's that. That dude the owner of it got interviewed the other day and he was like, it's not even about the money, dude. He's
just about,
he's like, there's so much other stuff in this bill that's not just about me selling the company, that like they would kill the company here too. Mm-hmm. I get it. If I was him and I built the biggest social media platform ever, I'd be like, I'm not selling it to the Americans.
Yeah.
You know?
Just want to control it, I guess.
But I don't know. This has been going on for so long, there's no telling what's going to happen.
We'll see. 2025 will be interesting. I mean, Trump getting in, RFK, they probably coming for them Red Bull boys.
No doubt. This is a good time for us to say, make sure you subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Pods and YouTube, because if we do lose TikTok, you know, if you're subscribed on any of those, you get notified every time we post. And shout out to the dude, 350 different followers we have on Spotify alone.
Yeah.
So that means they get notified every time we post.
Mm-hmm.
So we've never asked anyone to do anything on these episodes, but if y'all want to smash the subscribe button on wherever you listen, that would be extremely helpful if we lose TikTok or if we continue to get strikes on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love you, bro. This has been awesome. I mean, GodDog, really,
baby.
You know.
It's the thing, man.
This has been sick.
Special, sick. It's gonna grow like crazy in 2025, I think.
That's right.
I think we're gonna have a moment in 2025 where we look up and say, how do we get here?
We just needed a rain.
Yeah. Yeah. And if there's any of you listening that are maybe, you know, looking for a little side thing and you're interested in this kind of work and you live in Nashville, hit us up. Mm-hmm. We're looking for someone to hop on board at some point and help us out, help us grow this thing.
Yeah. We need it.
GodDog.
GodDog. Love you, brother.
Love you, dog. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.